hype the video up. You can do, what he say? Gift memberships. We greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that old trifling hater tried to come over here. I guess because I mentioned Sean G and that pink thing, his 3-piece. Yeah. Oh, they mad at me. Oh, they mad at me. Hold on, hell breaks loose. Okay, hold on. Let me get to see what I done put to the side for y'all. Hold on. These people are a trip. Hey, Valerie. And who's Democrats he's talking about? Search what kind of sounds like somebody a Democrat here. I don't know what you're talking about. But I need for y'all to, the video I uploaded last night, I need for y'all to go hype this up. This one right here. It was about the,
phone in your car?
Hold on, y'all.
No. Okay.
Got him confessing right in front of the car.
It says President Trump, Jeffrey Epstein files catching P3 on New Year's Day. It's an hour and 27 minutes. Go hype it up, please. And thank you. Let me show y'all what the thumbnail look like. Please and thank you. Can y'all go hype this up? Let me show it to y'all. Okay, while I am over here trying to get the next go up, that one right there with Donald Trump on it. Can y'all go hype it up? Hype me up right there. Can y'all go hype me up while I get the next one going for y'all? Let's go. Hype, 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 hype. And y'all can hype 3 times. Yeah, hype it up 3 times. Third time is a charm. Did I do, oh girl? Oh yeah, here we go. The bail was revoked. Can y'all go hype me up? Hype, 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 hype me up. I got another one. And again, remember, you can hype 3 times. Hype. Hype again. And it'll say thank you. Let's go.
Machine learning.
Keep hyping till it say thank you.
Wonder if some machines can keep up.
Let's welcome our new coworker.
Nothing. What followed stunned everyone.
Is this the one for today?
Chaos erupted in a federal courtroom as a judge lost patience and wielded the ultimate authority, revoking Trump's bail on the spot.
Revoked.
In that instant, wealth, power, and political status meant absolutely nothing. What
was
followed...
the hype there? Did they take the hype away? Hold on. Are you on your phone? I think the hype on it shows up on your phone. Are you on your phone device or your computer? Well, hold on. Let me check. Hi. Share. Sherry. Okay, let me play this and let me go get my other phone. See what's going on.
Chaos erupted in a federal courtroom as a judge lost patience and wielded the ultimate authority, revoking Trump's bail on the spot. In that instant, wealth, power,
you just
and
did
political
it.
status...
Was it on your phone specs? Did you do it 3 times? Or was it on your computer? I thought it was just on your computer. But I don't... Okay. It's there. I don't know what's happening. Go out and come in.
What followed stunned everyone, instantly
Queen.
flipping the courtroom's power dynamic and sending shockwaves across the nation. Fewer than 1% of criminal defendants ever have their bail revoked purely for court.
You mean the president of the United States Was revoked. Denied. Oh, you had to leave and come back. Okay, that's what it is. Leave and come back. Thank you.
Chaos erupted in a federal courtroom as a judge lost patience and wielded the ultimate authority, revoking Trump's bail on the spot. In that instance,
Revoking his bail on the spot. Is that saying I am sick and tired
chaos erupted in a
of
federal
you
courtroom
and
as a
your
judge
bullcrap?
lost patience
What is that
and
saying?
wielded the ultimate authority, revoking Trump's
Revoking his bail. Y'all, if they ain't sick of him, if that ain't proof they are sick of him, I don't know what is proof of. It says, I am sick of you. I am sick of you. Say it again. I am sick of you. Say, I am sick of you. I'm sick of you.
bail on the spot. In that instant, wealth, power, and political status meant absolutely nothing. What followed stunned everyone, instantly flipping the courtroom's power dynamic and sending shockwaves across the nation. Fewer than 1% of criminal defendants ever have their bail revoked purely for courtroom behavior. Even fewer are billionaires. Almost none are former presidents.
Cha-boo-boo.
Consider this. What could possibly happen that
It
would push a
still
judge to
smells
slam the
like
gavel,
boo-boo.
raise their voice, and strip someone of their freedom instantly? This wasn't a delay or a warning. It was the nuclear option. The tension in the room became electric in seconds as a defendant laughed, smirked where silence was expected, evidence was read, and lines were crossed until the judge snapped past all restraint. In that moment, decades of wealth, influence, and legal protection counted for nothing. The bail deal was dead. The courtroom fell silent. The power dynamic had flipped completely. But the bigger question, and the reason you need to watch until the end, is this. Was it pure anger, or was it the justice system finally drawing a line that had never been crossed? What unfolded in that room didn't just affect one man. It sent a chilling message. No fortune, no title, and no past power can put anyone above the law. It served as a warning across the system because so many assume bail is just a payment. Write a check, walk free, and wait for trial. That belief, as this moment proved, is dangerously wrong. Bail is not a favor or a receipt. It's a contract, a legal agreement between the defendant and the court where the court temporarily gives you your freedom, and in return you agree to strict conditions. Show up, follow orders, and above all, respect the authority of the court. The moment that respect disappears, the deal can end instantly. Most people don't realize this. Bail can be revoked even if no new crime has been committed. You don't have to flee. You don't have to harm anyone. You don't have to break the law outside the courtroom. All it takes is behavior that signals you cannot or will not follow the rules. Mocking the court, laughing during evidence, interrupting proceedings. These aren't minor slip-ups. To a judge, they're red flags screaming that the defendant thinks they're above the law. And when that belief is displayed openly, judges are trained to shut it down immediately. This is why the situation escalated so sharply. From the judge's perspective, it wasn't about emotion. It was about control, authority, and preserving the credibility of the justice system. Every future defendant, juror, and lawyer is watching. Because one unchecked act of disrespect can collapse the perception of fairness for everyone. So when bail was revoked, it wasn't impulsive. It was procedural. The judge wasn't punishing arrogance. He was enforcing a contract. Freedom comes with conditions. Those conditions were violated. Once that line is crossed, the law acts swiftly. A courtroom isn't a debate stage, a campaign rally, or a television set. It's one of the few places in society where absolute authority still exists. When a judge speaks, that voice carries the full force of the law, not opinion, politics, or popularity. That authority must be preserved because courts don't run on power or money. They run on perception. Jurors must believe the judge is in control. Lawyers must trust the rules will be enforced evenly. Defendants must believe consequences are real. The moment a judge tolerates open mockery, laughter, or disruption, that perception evaporates and the courtroom becomes theater, eroding trust in the entire system. This is why enforcement happens quickly and publicly, especially when the defendant is powerful. Allowing spectacle signals weakness and invites chaos. Before you go, drop a comment with one word, fair or too far. We read every single one, and your voice shapes what we cover next. If you value deep, no-nonsense breakdowns like this, hit subscribe. It's one click that keeps this channel alive.
Hit it. Do you think it's fair or too much?
Or disruption. That perception evaporates, and the courtroom becomes theater, eroding trust in the entire system.
Is it fair or too much? What you think? I think, of course, I think it's fair. Hi, Ron. Fair. Y'all, what do y'all think? It's 224 people in here right now. Only 80 likes. Double tap the face of your screen on your phone. Double tap. Or if you're on your computer, hit the three dots at the top right corner. Do y'all think it's fair or too much? Come on, y'all. Y'all can vote. I think it's absolutely fair. And I think that it is past due. Yeah, it's well overdue. It's time for somebody to pull his coattail. Absolutely. Let's go.
Laughter or disruption. That perception evaporates and the courtroom becomes theater, eroding trust in the entire system. This is why enforcement
That's why people think the system has failed us and it's a joke.
Is powerful. Allowing spectacle signals weakness and invites chaos. Before you go, drop a comment with one word, fair or too far.
Fair.
We read every single one, and your voice shapes what we cover next. If you value deep, no-nonsense breakdowns like this, hit subscribe. It's one click that keeps this channel alive. And if this judges respond so forcefully when their authority is challenged, especially in high-profile cases, this wasn't about ego or thin skin. It was about preventing a dangerous precedent from taking hold. If a powerful defendant is allowed to openly disrespect the court without consequence, every future defendant will try the same.
Fair.
The law becomes optional, order turns to chaos, and the system begins to collapse from within. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Ordinary people never get this level of patience. If a typical citizen laughed during evidence, whispered while a judge spoke, or mocked proceedings, they'd be in handcuffs within seconds. Powerful figures push boundaries because they're used to rooms bending around them, but this courtroom didn't bend. When the judge raised his voice, it wasn't personal, it was institutional. He was drawing a line not just for one defendant, but for the integrity of the entire legal system. Respect the court or lose your freedom. That is the rule. In that moment, enforcement took priority over tolerance. Let's be honest about what most people feel but rarely hear said out loud. Wealth changes how the justice system treats you. Money buys top lawyers, delays, and far more patience. For ordinary people, one misstep can mean immediate consequences. For the powerful, misbehavior is often excused as misunderstanding or strategy. That double standard is real and well documented. That's why this moment shocked everyone. The invisible shield finally failed. And when it did, it sent a clear message. Even power has limits. What happened in that courtroom was a rare moment when money, status, and political power simply stopped working. The judge didn't see a billionaire or a former president. He saw a defendant violating the rules. And once the behavior crossed a clear line, wealth became irrelevant. That's why the moment felt so explosive, because we're used to watching powerful figures push boundaries without consequences, slowly creating the assumption that the rules are flexible if you're important enough. Courts don't survive on flexibility, they survive on consistency. And when inconsistency becomes too obvious, judges are forced to intervene or they risk undermining the legitimacy of the entire system. That's what made this moment so different. The court wasn't reacting to a single outburst. It was responding to a pattern, a growing sense that normal standards didn't apply. When that belief is displayed openly in court, it becomes dangerous. The moment the public perceives two sets of rules, one for the wealthy and one for everyone else, trust disappears. The bail revocation wasn't merely punishment. It was a reset, a clear public signal that privilege has limits. And when those limits are crossed, the consequences are sudden, visible, and absolute. What seemed like a spontaneous explosion was actually the culmination of pressure building over months, possibly years, within the system. Judges don't casually wake up one morning and revoke bail in a high-profile case. They are careful, risk-averse, and acutely aware that every decision will be scrutinized, appealed, and politicized. For it to reach this point, something had to go very wrong. Powerful defendants often test boundaries gradually, starting with subtle side comments, smirks, or eye rolls before escalating into public challenges to prosecutors, clerks, or witnesses. Eventually, they move into gray areas like skirting court orders or turning proceedings into media spectacles. Each step is deliberate, testing how much the system will tolerate. For a long time, the system absorbs this behavior because courts are wary of appearing biased. Judges know that every warning or sanction can be spun as political persecution, so they hesitate, offering patience they would never extend to an ordinary defendant. That patience, however, sends a dangerous signal. Keep pushing until strategy turns into open contempt. That's the breaking point. Once disrespect becomes visible to everyone, jurors, court staff, and the public, the judge faces only two options: enforce authority or lose it completely. This is what made the moment inevitable. It wasn't about one laugh or a single comment. It was a pattern that finally became impossible to ignore. The system bent again, and then hit its absolute limit. When bail was revoked, it wasn't sudden. It was overdue. The line had been tested too many times, and once crossed, there was no turning back. This is where the concept of moral hazard comes in. In simple terms, moral hazard occurs when someone takes increasingly risky actions because they believe they're protected from real consequences. When you think the safety net will always catch you, you stop paying attention to where you step. That's exactly what happened here. For years, the message was clear: push the system and nothing happens. Warnings went unheeded, rules were bent, and lines were crossed. Each time, the absence of serious consequences reinforced the belief that none would ever come. That belief becomes dangerous, not just for the court, but for society as a whole. When a defendant feels protected by wealth, status, or political influence, behavior shifts, respect turns into sarcasm, compliance becomes performance, and the courtroom stops functioning as a place of law and starts feeling like a stage. From a judge's perspective, that's when the risk becomes unacceptable. Moral hazard doesn't stay contained, it spreads. If one powerful person is allowed to openly disrespect the court, others will follow. Lawyers push harder, defendants test further, and rules start to feel optional. Once that happens, the court loses its ability to function. That's why judges are trained to do one thing when moral hazard grows too large: remove the safety net. That is what the bail revocation truly represented. Not rage, but risk management. The judge determined the defendant could no longer be trusted to follow the conditions of freedom. The insurance policy was canceled. The experiment ended. And when moral hazard collapses, the correction is never gentle. It's sudden, public, and designed to send a clear message: consequences are real. For much of modern history, privilege has acted like a shock absorber. Wealth, fame, and political power soften consequences, turning mistakes into misunderstandings. Violations become negotiations. Time stretches and pressure fades. But here's a truth most people never see. Privilege has a hard floor. Once you hit it, there's nowhere left to fall but straight down. That courtroom is where the floor finally appeared. Inside those walls, net worth stops mattering. Political allies cannot intervene. Influence cannot negotiate. A courtroom is one of the few places in society where the rules are meant to apply equally, and the judge controls that room completely. When a defendant's behavior signals that they still feel untouchable, even in that courtroom, the system reacts decisively. That's what made this moment so striking. The defendant wasn't behaving like someone facing real limits.
Facts.
He acted like someone expecting the room to bend the way every other room had before. But this one didn't. The judge
Not
didn't
this time.
flinch. The moment a court allows privilege to override authority, it stops being a court and becomes a suggestion box. From the judge's perspective, this wasn't about punishment.
Can I get y'all to double tap the face of the screen on your phone? Just real quick and simple. Bam, bam. And if you're on your computer, hit the three dots at the top right corner. Hit the like button. Somebody just hit it and took back a like that they already had. If you have already double tapped, you don't have to do it again. I am speaking to the ones who have not double tapped the face of their phone or hit the three dots at the top right. I'll give y'all a minute or two to double tap if you have not already. Hit the three dots at the top right. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. The tea is hot, baby. Bond has been revoked. What is that gonna mean? What would it mean if it was one of us? Huh? Happy New Year's to you, LaQuisha. T to the real. T to the real. What you know about LaQuita? T to the real. Woo. Gap Pack. I came through the door on a double tap. Shout out to coming in on respect. I greatly appreciate it. T to the real. What you know about LaQuisha? Bam. Let's go.
It was about reasserting reality. The law had to make one thing unmistakably clear. This space is not for performance, leverage, or dominance. It is for compliance. And when privilege refuses to recognize that boundary, the response must be immediate and undeniable. That's why the bail revocation felt so sudden. It couldn't be gradual. Hard floors don't warn you. They stop you the instant privilege runs out of room. The system applied force, not debate. And that's the lesson. Privilege works until it doesn't. And when it fails instantly. In high-stakes cases like this, lawyers aren't just legal experts. They're risk managers. Their role isn't only to argue the law, but to control the environment, manage their clients' behavior, and prevent exactly this kind of disaster. When bail is at stake, every word, reaction, and expression matters. And when a client ignores that reality, the consequences can be immediate. Here's the uncomfortable truth. By the time a judge revokes bail, something has already gone seriously wrong behind the scenes. Lawyers are expected to warn their clients relentlessly, don't react, don't comment, don't perform. Judges rarely punish lawyers for legal arguments, but they do punish defendants for behavior. When a client pushes anyway, it signals that the attorney has lost control or never had it, which makes the situation extremely dangerous. A defendant acting out in open court tells the judge, loud and clear, that this person cannot be trusted to follow rules outside the courtroom either. Once a judge believes a defendant won't listen to their own attorneys, court orders start to look meaningless. At that point, bail isn't just a privilege, it's a liability. From the judge's perspective, this wasn't mere misbehavior, it was a breakdown of safeguards. The legal system relies on defense attorneys as a buffer between the court and chaos. When that buffer fails, the system compensates by tightening control fast. That's why bail revocation is often called a last resort. It signals that the court no longer trusts the defendant or the framework surrounding them. And once that trust is gone, freedom disappears. In short, when lawyers lose control, the court takes it back decisively and without hesitation. When people talk about a judge losing control, they often misunderstand what's really happening. This wasn't a system breaking down, it was a system defending itself. Courts are built to absorb pressure, controversy, even provocation. But when that pressure threatens legitimacy, the response is swift and forceful, like an immune system reacting to a serious threat. A courtroom only functions if everyone believes the rules matter. Jurors must trust the process, staff must feel safe and respected, and the public must believe outcomes aren't decided by fame or intimidation. When a defendant openly mocks proceedings, that trust begins to erode. And once legitimacy is in question, the court doesn't just have the right to act, it has a duty to act. That's why the reaction felt so dramatic. It wasn't emotional, it was institutional. The judge wasn't defending his ego, he was defending the authority of the court itself. Allowing the behavior to continue would have sent a dangerous message. Rule